Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Blue Wave, where we talk everything American politics. I'm your host, Max Lopez. Happy 4th of July to all my fellow Americans out there. Hopefully, you're able to enjoy some good food and good times with family, and maybe a little bit of fireworks later on tonight, if that's what you're into. So I got a great show lined up for you, as always. We're going to be starting off with Trump starting off his 4th of July with an inspiring message that brings together American people. Not. He comes up with this crass meme, retruths this crass meme, attacking Joe Biden for a very strange reason. Next up, we're going to be looking at an interview that Trump's former press secretary did with MSNBC, where she says that Trump would show documents to people at Mar-a-Lago all the time, and that she's seen him show documents to people at Mar-a-Lago. So it kind of pokes a hole in Trump's whole defense. Next, we're going to be looking at Trump talking about why indicted candidates shouldn't run back in 2016 when he was speaking about Hillary Clinton. We all know that hypocrisy is not a bug, but it's a feature in the GOP. Another example of just pure hypocrisy, and I'm going to point it out. We got LGBTQ conservatives saying that they were misled by Ron DeSantis. So DeSantis' War Room Twitter account posts this really homophobic ad that is really gross, and it's been making some media rounds, and a little bit of attention has been picked up on it, and conservatives who are LGBT have seen the ad and they feel a type of way about it. And the next we'll be looking at a Maine woman throwing hands with a bear over her dog being chased by it. Courageous, dumb, a lot of different adjectives you could use to describe this woman's actions. So we'll round the week out with that. But like I was saying, first, what we're going to be looking at is this Donald Trump Truth Social post that he posted early this morning on the 4th of July. And here it is. Donald J. Trump. True, no Biden hats anywhere. Never see one. He's retruthing Taz. And this is the post he put up. 81 million votes, and I've never seen a pro-Biden hat, shirt, or flag in my life. Fuck Biden. And fuck you for voting for him. My counter argument to this is Biden supporters and liberals in general, we seek to make this country a better place for people to live. And whether that's through economic measures, whether that's through lawful measures, whatever we have to do to try to make America a better place for as many people as possible, we're going to try to do that. In 2020, it happened to be that Biden was the vehicle in which to accomplish our goals for the American people. And so guess what? We voted for Biden. That's it. That's what the GOP doesn't get, is that we don't have our identities and a huge part of our lives all wrapped up in supporting this one guy, no matter what happens, come hell or high water. Okay? Like, that's just not how we view our candidates that we choose. Okay? They are vehicles in which to help the American people as much as possible. And the fact that there's no Biden hats and there's no Biden flags and shirts everywhere, yeah, that's how normal politics should be. Politicians shouldn't be people who are revered as being having this celebrity-like reverence to them. And they're not people who should be looked up to in any sort of way other than what can you do to help America? And what can you do? What are you going to do to make this country a better place? We don't have a need to go out and wear a Biden hat and a Biden shirt to let everybody know that we're Biden supporters. What would be the reason to do that? Right? It'd be kind of weird if, that would weird me out a little bit. If I went over to my friend's house and they had a bunch of stuff about how much they love Joe Biden. It's like Leslie Knope in Parks and Recreation. She has this huge reverence for Biden and this she loves her some Joe Biden in many different ways. But in the show, it's portrayed as being strange and as being awkward and as being we're supposed to laugh at Leslie Knope and how ridiculous and over the top her support of Biden is. It's not something that's supposed to be normalized and, oh, this is how every candidate is supposed to be treated. No, it's just Trump that has the red hats, the shirts, the flags, and etc. Because the right and Trump supporters, they use their support of Trump to fill some other missing void in their life. And Trump owning the libs or whatever, and Trump draining the swamp is their way of getting back at society that's hurt them in one way or another. And they use their support of Trump. It becomes a part of their personality. And it just doesn't really work like that on the left with the politicians that we support. So there you have it. That explains the lack of Biden flags and hats and shirts. It's not that we didn't not vote for Biden, because we did, 81 million votes, as this post says. But yeah, it's just not something that we're going to start doing on the left. Next up here, we have Trump's former press secretary going on an interview with MSNBC and explaining to the interviewer that she has seen Trump show people documents at Mar-a-Lago. Crazy stuff. This is somebody that would be around Trump constantly, and the press secretary and the president's office have a very intimate relationship, a very symbiotic relationship, where they are there are two peas in the same pot, and the White House goes one way, the press secretary goes that way. The White House goes another way, the press secretary goes another way. So she's somebody that being around Trump so much, being the press secretary, she's exactly the kind of person that would have intimate knowledge of his behavior behind closed doors. So let's go ahead and look at this clip here. It's going to start off. I'm going to play a little bit of the Trump tapes that leaked, in which the video is discussing, and then she gives her bit of the interview, and then I'll go ahead and pause it there.
I just found, isn't that amazing? This totally wins my case, Mm-hmm. Except it is like highly confidential, secret. This is secret information. This was done by the military, given to me. I think we can probably, right?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to try to figure out
See, as president, I could have declassified it. Now I can't, but this is classified.
Look, Donald Trump. Is it plausible Trump was showing classified documents to people in private meetings?
The short answer is yes. I watched him show documents to people at Mar-a-Lago on the dining room patio. So he has no respect for classified information, never did. Listening to that exchange every time, it just makes me so angry. He talks specifically that he should have declassified it, but he didn't. So there, I think, is proof. I believe also there's a portion of that audio where he says, this is off the record. And I know Donald Trump, and knows the rules of reporters, and he knows if it needs to be off the record that they can't talk about it. So I think he was covering himself in that regard. And, I was thinking about this earlier. I just want to say to your viewers, I don't think people understand how hard it is to get your classified permissions. I remember when I was going through it to get all of mine, I got held up because of a $13 KinderCare bill that I did not know about. And so I couldn't get clearance. They go through everything about you. It's very difficult to get a security clearance. And I think people, they miss that's in the weeds, obviously, but to be showing it to people who haven't gone through the extreme vetting that you go through to get a clearance, it's a disservice to the country, but it also puts people in danger potentially.
Wow. So we've heard Trump make the argument of, well, oops, not Kim Kardashian. Sorry about that. So, like I was saying, we've heard Trump make the argument of, well, there's all sorts of stuff in those boxes that I took out of the White House. And I had my golf shirts and shoes and memorabilia and newspaper clippings and article printouts and God knows what were in these boxes. So he's saying, it wasn't just all classified information. What I was showing them was something that was unclassified. And sure, there might have been some other classified stuff that was in these boxes, but what I was showing these women in this leaked recording, that specifically was unclassified. And we don't have to worry about it. It's no big deal. Don't worry, guys. Nothing to see here. It's unclassified information that I was sharing with these women. But here we have Trump's press secretary, former press secretary anyways, saying that she's seen him show documents to people in the patio at Mar-a-Lago. So when the news first broke about these leaked audio, my thinking was, Trump showing classified documents, to people at Mar-a-Lago to woo them and to impress them or to convince them is exactly something that Trump would totally do. It's like, I don't get all these people going, thinking that this is something that is so far outside of the realm of Trump behavior. It's like, it is to a T. Sounds like something he would exactly do. And we hear him do it in the audio recording. In fact, we can hear paper ruffling. You can hear him thumbing through these documents going, which one is it? Which one is it where has the Iran attack plans written by General Mark Milley? Oh, yes, here it is. And you hear the paper rustling. But what Trump's defense has been is that, again, that's not classified stuff that I was showing at that moment. But again, we have the press secretary here saying she's personally seen him. Not, I know of it, or, yes, that's something that's Trump's known to do at Mar-a-Lago. No, she's personally seen him demonstrate or present information in classified documents. And yeah, so this is some serious legal stuff here. Okay, it really is. And with the 40 more charges that Jack Smith could be bringing in this case, this is not good. Okay, I don't care how any of the righties try to spin this. This is not something that you want to be happening to you when you are a major candidate to be president of the United States. People are paying attention to this, and it's not a good look for Trump. And this legal trouble, you just know that Ron DeSantis is sitting there going, please, please arrest the guy, please. Because really, Ron DeSantis' only chance of becoming the nominee is if Trump gets put in jail. And even then, I think Trump might still be the nominee. Next up here, we have Trump talking about why indicted candidates shouldn't run when speaking about 2016. In 2016 about Hillary Clinton. Now, we all know that hypocrisy is not a bug in the right wing, in the GOP, but rather a feature, and that being a totally blatant hypocrite is a requirement to be a major political figure in the GOP. But that doesn't mean that it makes it any less hypocritical, and it doesn't mean that I'm not going to call it out and expose it for exactly what it is. Just pure, blatant hypocrisy. Let's go ahead and look at this clip here from CNN, and I'll have some commentary on the other side.
Yeah, you can't serve effectively as president if you're under federal indictment for mishandling classified information. Donald Trump said that 6 years ago in 2016, and now he, of course, finds himself under federal indictment for allegedly mishandling classified information. And Donald Trump didn't just say this once. He said there's upwards of a half dozen times at the end of that 2016 presidential campaign after James Comey reopened that investigation into Hillary Clinton's private email server. Now, Trump did say this numerous times, saying there would be a possible constitutional crisis if Hillary Clinton were to be elected president. Take a listen to just a few of those clips that we found.
Wow.
We could very well have a sitting president under felony indictment and ultimately a criminal trial.
I'm just going to pause it for a second here, just to comment on, God, look how much better Trump looked in 2016. Dear God. His whole demeanor, his posture, the color in his face, just looks like a totally different person. He looks, nowadays, compared to just how he looked in 2016, looks really frail and really kind of not the best. I mean, wow. That's crazy. Anyways, let me rewind it here a little bit for you guys. Sorry about that.
Indictment and ultimately a criminal trial. It would grind government to a halt. If she were to win, it would create an unprecedented constitutional crisis that would cripple the operations of our government. She is likely to be under investigation for many years, and also it will probably end up, in my opinion, in a criminal trial. I mean, you take a look. Who knows, but it certainly looks that way.
So we did reach out to the Trump campaign, to his representatives, to ask about those old quotes, how he squares that with today, but we didn't hear back from them.
Well, of course, that very same allegation is what led to those famous lock her up chants, right, that he used so frequently.
They didn't hear back. Wow, shocker there, right? So, wow. Yeah, just totally blatant hypocrisy by Donald Trump, saying that there could be a constitutional crisis if Hillary was to be elected. But now what we're seeing is, I'm hearing arguments about how, well, even if Trump was indicted and was sent to prison and was in a prison cell, Well, there's nothing stopping somebody in prison for running for president of the United States. And what if a person who's convicted of a crime and is serving their sentence in prison runs for president and wins? Then is a president able to then pardon himself of the crimes that he's been convicted of? That sounds like a constitutional crisis that anything involving Hillary pales in comparison to that potential constitutional crisis. And if Trump really gave a shit about the functioning of the government or keeping the gears turning in Washington, D.C., and we can't have a president that is in legal trouble because, oh no, the government's going to come grinding to a halt. Well, if he really gave a shit about that, then what he should do is drop out of the race right now. Because he is under much, much more serious potential legal trouble than Hillary was ever in. And it just goes to show how hypocritical Donald Trump is. The fact that he's certainly not going to drop out of the race, and the fact that anybody insinuating that he should is viewed as being a totally untangible, unrealistic solution to his whole legal issues. That would never even be entertained, even for a second, by the modern right wing, that Trump should drop out. LGBTQ conservatives are saying that they've felt betrayed and misled by Ron DeSantis after this ad that's been shared by DeSantis War Room Twitter account has been floating around the media for a few days now. And a lot of people have been calling it straight up homophobic and straight up anti-gay crap. And LGBT conservatives have caught wind of this ad, and they've seen it too. And they're not happy with how it portrays them, and they're not happy with Ron DeSantis' treatment in general of LGBTQ people. So let's go ahead and look at the article here. It says, LGBTQ conservatives say they feel misled by DeSantis. It's from The Hill. The video bashed former President Donald Trump's support for the LGBTQ community and leaned into conservative state policies passed under DeSantis this year that were criticized as anti-LGBTQ. LGBTQ conservatives, reacting to the video, said DeSantis had shown his true colors as an anti-LGBT champion, undermining his arguments that his support for the policies were about protecting children and parents' rights. It's like he's going mask off, said Bran Palumbo, a Michigan-based libertarian journalist. The cat's out of the bag. What I have to say to this, guys, is how on earth are there any LGBT people out there that have considered supporting Ron DeSantis? How does that happen? This guy's saying the cat's out of the bag? The cat was never in the bag. DeSantis has been very clear about his stance on LGBTQ issues ever since he became governor, at least in 2019, but probably before then. Like, what is it that Ron DeSantis has offered the LGBTQ community that has made them think for even 1 second that he had the backs of the LGBTQ community? That is just irrational. All right. That is just purely irrational. And, LGBTQ conservatives, it's like they're a really confusing group that frustrates me, because you're supporting a party that is actively causing harm to your marginalized group. And for whatever reason, you rationalize it, they're able to rationalize it away, or cognitive dissonance gets in the way of them recognizing that their political beliefs are in fact harmful to their own marginalized group. How does this happen, folks? I mean, in what universe has Ron DeSantis, for 1 second of his political career, ever pretended at all, with any fiber of his being, for a single second, pretended to be supportive of LGBTQ people and their lifestyle and their choices of who they want to love? It's never happened, as far as I know. And it's just absolutely, this is just dumb, okay? This is just dumb. I don't necessarily like calling people dumb, but I can't think of any other word to describe what I think about these LGBTQ conservatives who have supported DeSantis. So back to the article here. Palumbo said he'd have considered voting for DeSantis at one time. I'm somebody who has my fair share of policy disagreements with DeSantis, but I was considering voting for him in the primary before he entered the race officially. Since then, he's done thing after thing that really makes me increasingly write off that possibility. If you disagree with Ron DeSantis' policy, then what the hell are you supporting him for? What the hell else is there? There's no charisma. There's no there's no other benefit to supporting him other than supposedly that he can get these righty viewpoints into law, and Florida's becoming a right-wing hellscape. That's been his whole claim to fame. So, God. And then listen to this, guys. George Santos, who has endorsed Trump for president, but vocally supported Florida's Don't Say Gay bill on the campaign trail last year, said that in light of Friday's video, he now feels that he was used and misled by DeSantis. Kill me. Fucking shoot me. Somebody, please. Shoot me. How the hell did DeSantis mislead Santos exactly? What? Are people following an alternative news channel that I don't know about that has been reporting on DeSantis's unbridled support for LGBTQ people? I used to think he was a great governor, Santos, the first non-incumbent gay Republican elected to Congress, said of DeSantis. Now I'm starting to think differently. I don't know if I have any more commentary on this one, guys. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? The silliness kind of speaks for itself. And let me just say that there is for the LGBTQ, for Santos to be the first non-incumbent gay Republican elected to the Congress. God, what a terrible, terrible legacy that the LGBTQ community has to unfortunately shoulder the burden of. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully we can get somebody else better than Santos to be the second gay person elected to the Republican Congress. Yeah, just really, really crazy stuff here. A Maine woman threw hands with a bear and has lived to tell about it. Yes, you heard me correctly. A woman threw hands with a bear. AP, Maine woman punches bear that chased her dog and ends up with stitches. Porter, Maine. a Maine woman was bitten by a bear in her backyard while defending her pet dog, necessitating a trip to the hospital for stitches, officials said Friday. Lynn Kelly, 64, was tending her garden in Porter when her dog took off into the woods, barking at something on Friday. In short order, the dog was racing back to the yard with a black bear in hot pursuit, said Mark Laddie, spokesperson for the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. Ellie stood and made herself appear large, which is recommended in a black bear encounter. But instead of slowly retreating, she proceeded to confront the bear, which is not recommended, Laddie said. Guys, black bears do not mess around. There's a difference. There's a little big differences between black bears and brown bears. And black bears are not a bear that you want to find yourself in a hand-to-hand combat with. It's just not something you want to do, guys. The bear briefly latched onto Kelly's wrist after she punched the animal on the nose, and she received stitches for the wound at Memorial Hospital in North Conway, New Hampshire. It's rare for someone to be bitten by a bear in Maine, even though the state has one of the largest black bear populations on the eastern seaboard, Lafty said. Encounters with bears can be reduced by removing or securing bird feeders, garbage, pet food, and other things that attract a bear's attention. So you guys let me know what you think on this one. Courage to protect her pet dog, or sheer misguided courage to, after the dog runs back to her and the bear's chasing her, she appeared large and everything seemed as if it was fine at that point. The bear wasn't going to, the bear wasn't being aggressive at that point to her or the dog. It was just chasing the dog. But this lady, Lynn Kelly, proceeds to go and punch the bear. Like, this isn't something that, like, somebody who lifts weights and is totally jacked and is totally and goes to MMA club, a jacked person that goes to MMA club and knows how to fight. This isn't something that they should do. Never mind a 64-year-old woman who was just prior to punching a bear in the face with her bare hands was tending to her lovely garden. Wow. The things that we'll do to protect our animals is really a driving force, ladies and gentlemen. And it'll drive you to do many different things that you did not think that you had within you to do, including engaging a bear in hand-to-hand combat by punching it in its nose. I guess hand-to-hand combat wouldn't be the term. It would be claw-to-hand combat, or paw-to-hand combat, if you will. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys in this one. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Let me know what you think about any one of these stories. I hope everybody has a great 4th of July, and I'll catch everybody on the next show coming up this next Friday. All right, peace out.